Welcome back, guys. We're back with another guide. We'll be covering Finland's anti-aircraft guns of World War II. They are very limited, as you can see, but they did have some effective ones. So first we're going to hit the 20 ITK-35 Breda. Now this thing was actually bought from Italy. Finland brought 88 of them in the year of 1940, and they put these guys to good use. They used as light anti-aircraft, and they could be used as versus armored cars as well if needed. Not the most reliable thing versus vehicles, but it can still be used. I like to use this for infantry support in my early conquest runs. As you can see, it is mounted in the back of this 4 to 3 tons, so it can't be useful for mobile anti-aircraft, but I wouldn't really recommend using it versus too many vehicles. It has a range of 150 with high explosive and armor piercing, can get to about 12 millimeters of armor, so anything bigger than a armored car is going to struggle versus. Finland really liked using these because they were like pretty mobile to pack up. They could be moved relatively easily to different positions, and it's a big concern for Finland, who's got some rough terrain out there. But moving on to the next one, this one was actually probably the only one on this list that was actually developed by Finland and used by Finland. Now this is actually an anti-tank rifle that they converted into being used for anti-air, and they got dual mount on it. So this is the 20 ITK-40 VKT, which is the factory that made them. About 174 of these bad boys were produced, and they're made from 1943 to 1944. So it was a relatively late build for the Finnish. Now it has pretty much the same stats as the old one. In the previous gun, 150 range for high explosive and armor piercing. It's got 12 millimeters of penetration, so about the same. But what you will notice with this one is it has hella good fire rate. Just look at that. Look at the way it burns through freaking everything. Got relatively quick reload as well. I love using this thing to shred infantry. I actually like buying the version that comes on the truck sometimes because it can be very effective for mobile, very quick at killing infantry. But as you can see, it can burn through its ammo so quick. Such a high fire rate makes it really effective versus low flying aircraft and versus infantry. I don't like to use the ground mounted one just because it can be a pretty easy target. The mobile one on the truck though, I do like to use that. Get it in, just gotta be careful because it's a glass cannon, of course. Not going to really be able to do much versus armor, but it can shred infantry. Highly recommend using this versus infantry. Next, we have the good old 40 ITK-38B. Now, this is just the Bofors anti-aircraft gun that you see Sweden made that the Allies use quite a bit of. It's got 160 range with high explosive and 47 millimeters penetration with this armor piercing. So it's cool. Good all-around weapon. Now, this thing is pretty effective versus aircraft, but it's even more effective versus light vehicles. Now, this is actually what's used on the Landverk, as you'll see, more in the L60 version of it. Yeah, same one, just mounted on a turret. Pretty freaking cool. It's really good versus light vehicles and can kill most light tanks. So, using it, just the gun version, I don't like to use as much, but on the Landverk, this thing is a freaking beast. Especially when you're only facing light vehicles with the Tier 1 call-ins. Landverk's fire in both multiplayer and conquest. Next, we have the 75 ITK-37. Oh, by the way, there's about 100 to 300 of these made. Finland produced some of their own with their own license, and they captured some, and they also got some from Sweden. So, quite a bit of these came in. Probably the most numerous anti-aircraft gun was that one. Next, we have the 75 ITK-37. Now, this bad boy is freaking awesome. I love using this because it's got quick reload with the crew of 5. It can just shred Soviet tanks. No problem. Now, this one has a range of 200 with high explosive and armor piercing ballistic cap. Now, it has 114 millimeters penetration, so this thing can actually get through pretty much all but the heaviest tanks. And with 200 range, you're going to be able to challenge most tanks that you'll encounter. Now, what I will say about this is both early and mid-war, this thing is a freaking beast and almost unstoppable. Especially when you get the Finland defensive doctrine, you can build up this platform, which makes it almost damn near unkillable unless you're facing irregular doctrines, which have bombers. This is a very, very effective weapon. It was built by the Czechs, actually. Czechoslovakia built them, and the Germans captured a bunch of them and sold about 20 of these to the Finns in 1940. So they were used in the continuation war quite a bit, and they're used mainly versus aircraft. But in game, I find myself using them mainly versus tanks, because Finland's kind of lacking that tank department. Last but not least, we have the 76 ITK-31. Now this is just they got about 118 of these. These were captured from the Soviets, so they actually got a lot of these bad boys. Now the stats are pretty similar to the one we just went over, the 75. It's got 200 range with high explosive, armor piercing, ballistic cap with about 114 millimeters penetration, just like the previous one. Got a little bit cooler sight, so they got that going for it. It was actually used as a coastal gun. So after the World War II ended, a bunch of them were used as coastal guns in training for the Finns. So they continue to see use till about the 1980s as a training aid. But I like to use this because it reminds me of the 88. It's like the Finnish 88 in my opinion. Both these little bad boys are. You can actually get these as call-ins. I like to use this one. It's not a bad call-in, especially mid-war. It's really good. In late war, I like to use it. It's not a bad AT gun with 200 range. It's gonna be able to snipe most tanks that you might encounter with penetration values. You can actually snipe T-34 85s pretty easily with this. So it's a very, very effective weapon for taking out late tier tanks. Heavy tanks gonna struggle quite a bit more with. But overall, it's pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing these little anti-aircraft guns. If you guys want to see more, make sure you leave a like below and subscribe. And I'll be posting more videos soon. I'll catch you in the next one.